Hi there, I'm Noah Bradley and this is Handmade House TV. On today's episode, I'm going to answer a few of your questions, so stay tuned. Well, welcome back to Handmade House TV. On today's episode, I wanted to go through a few of the most common questions I get. I love answering questions. I wish I had more time. I wish I was a little bit more prompt at getting to them. You'll find that a lot of the questions you might have watching this YouTube series is answered in the newsletters, the free newsletters that I send out every Wednesday at the same time I release these videos. So if you haven't already signed up for my weekly newsletter, please do so. It's easy to do. It's at handmadehouses.com. There's a little link right at the top, and if you ever get tired of getting the newsletters, why would you? But anyway, there's a simple unsubscribe button down at the bottom, but I find that a lot of people really enjoy them. But anyway, to the first question I'd like to handle today is that I get a lot of questions about chinking, and that I've released a few videos here about chinking between the logs, and people want to, they're having a difficult time finding the type of cement that I use in doing the chinking, and the brand that I use is Flamingo, and the color that I use is known as C74, and admittedly Flamingo is not available everywhere. In fact, sometimes I have difficulty here. The first thing that you want to keep in mind is that you cannot get pre-dyed cement at any of the big box stores. You can't go down to Costco, Home Depot, nor Lowe's and get pre-dyed cement. I do not like using the normal gray color that you see on sidewalks. I like using a bit of a tan color. But anyway, any masonry supply store, any place that sells pre-mixed concrete, or the place that masons go to in your town in order to buy their tools and cement and sand, is where you need to go. And generally all of them offer pre-dyed cement. You don't want pre-mixed, which means that the cement comes with sand. You want pre-dyed, that comes with a color. And no matter what brand, I've never found a bad brand of cement in my life. To pick whatever they have, and generally they'll have color charts there that you can choose from to pick the color that you like. If you want the color that I get, chances are they have a comparison chart, or you can Google Flamingo C74 comparison chart, and chances are every manufacturer has a color code that will match that particular one and help you out with that. But if you live in an extremely rural area and all you can get is regular cement, but you want it dyed, I'm sure that you can get on Google and search for the dye used in cement and get it and mix it in, and you'll come up with a very pleasing color, and chances are you'll do really fine with it. I don't do that because I really want a consistent color, and I don't want to go to the extra stirring amount in order to get the dye mixed perfectly on each batch thoroughly through. And that when you do it for a trade, the last thing you want is a grumpy client who thinks that the shade of this particular chink joint is a little bit different than the next one. So if you want a surety and consistency in the color, get pre-dyed concrete cement. The second question that I get a lot is, I'm going to build a log cabin, and what's your favorite log? What kind of logs should I use? What species should I use? So this is my official response. There is no such thing as a perfect log, a perfect species. Each has its own pros and cons. One will be more attractive, one will be more durable, one will be more abundant, one will be more stable, one will be more resistant to rot and insect attacks, another will be more cost effective, another will be higher on resale, one will be easier to saw or to shape with an axe, and another will just be miserable. So anyway, there are, and on the flip side of that coin, there are no bad logs. There is no species of wood that would be a reject from using it to build a log cabin with. All species are good. All species have their pros and cons. If I had to pick 5 of the favorite species, I would probably go with oak, and preferably a white oak. I'd go with poplar. I'd go with heart pine. I'd go with white pine, hemlock, and also chestnut would fit in there as well. A lot of people think chestnut's the cat's meow, the best there is, but I think it's probably 4 or 5 in my list. And what's number 1? I don't have one. I love them all. But the key to using the proper logs on your log cabin is that you need to find them ideally locally. You don't want, if you live in North Carolina, why are you buying logs out of Canada? North Carolina's got some beautiful logs. Yellow pine comes to mind really quickly there. You want straight logs. You want as wide of a log as what you can. You want logs that the grain does not twist in it. You want logs that are relatively knot free, and you want your logs to be as long as possible. In my area, the most abundant choices for that are tulip, poplar, and yellow pine. But every area has its own uniqueness. So seek on your own property or at the local sawmills and find out what species meet the layout that I just spelled out there for you. Another question that I get is that people will the haunting question of how much does the log cabin cost? And I created a video early in this series. I forgot what number it was. Maybe it was number 2. How much does it cost? And it was a long-winded one. It was probably 40 minutes long, I believe. And I think I covered all the ground in that. And people will still get in touch with me. And I'm going to build a cabin 24 by 24. How much will it cost? And I've watched your video. It was great. It was really. But can you really tell me how much it is? And no, I cannot. I do not know you. I do not know the details of your construction. I don't know where you live, and I don't know. There's just so many unknowns. The person that can answer that question for you, even though I have decades of experience, is not me. It is the individual who will build your home. Ask your builder, and if you're building it yourself, well, congratulations, more power to you. I think it's the greatest thing in the world. I think everybody should build their own house. But nonetheless, you or your builder needs to sit down and do the number crunching, find out how much each thing costs according to the specifications that you want, and make it happen. I am undertaking, I'm in the extreme early stages of building my next home. I'm sitting here on a raw piece of land. And we'll be building a tiny little log cabin for myself, but I'm still drawing the plans for my future home. There are goals that I have in mind of how much I want it to cost, but I have been through this process enough that even I have no idea how much my house is going to cost. It will cost whatever it costs based upon the decisions and the challenges I have that lie ahead for me. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with 4 questions today. It's about foundations, and that people have watched my episode on pier foundations. I think that was somewhere in the first 10 episodes here on Handmade House TV, and how I do not like pier foundations no matter what on a house. Masonry pier foundations are certainly strong enough to support a house. Wood ones, I would never use wood for a foundation for a house, but a pier foundation has many negative attributes to it. I would not go with a pier foundation. I do like pier foundations on outbuildings. If you want to live in an outbuilding with no heating, no electricity, then a pier foundation is just fine for you if you don't mind wildlife walking through your home. But basically, pier foundations are out. So I get some really kind, wonderful emails from you guys, and they say, "Well, if I don't build a pier foundation, what kind of foundation should I build?" Clearly, that depends upon you. There are many different options, but if you want to build a foundation that is strong and defeats all the negative features of a pier foundation, and is as low a cost as what you can, a user-friendly. If you want to build your own home, you can't beat a cinder block foundation. It's not the most attractive thing to have underneath a home, but nonetheless, if you go to the trouble of parging, that is coming in with a cement or another kind of material and parging over top of it, you can make a very attractive foundation by doing that, cost effective, and it's easy for your first-time home builder to use. If you're looking for the absolute best foundation that a person can put in, if cost is not an issue, time is not an issue, by far the best foundation you can do is a combination of a poured concrete and then with a very thick stone veneer on the exterior. So pour your concrete foundation 4 to 8 inches thick, probably 8 inches too much, 4 to 6 inches thick, and then do a stone veneer on it that would be anywhere between 6 to 10 inches thick. In front of that, it will give you an incredibly strong foundation that will survive any earthquake, will hold your home up forever. It'll lock your house down for any tornadoes that were to come through. The building inspectors will love it. It'll be breathtakingly beautiful, and it will last for thousands of years. And I've done many foundations just like that. A third alternative would be ICFs, insulated concrete foundations, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's viewer questions. I hope I answered them to everyone's satisfaction. I think that was 4 today, and I would like to thank 5 new members of the Handmade House Guild. They are Kyle Nice, what a great name, Patrick O'Brien, little Irish going on today, Pushpak Narayana, what a wonderful name. Gosh, some incredible names out there. I hope I did justice to the pronunciation of it. David Lyons and Matthew Harris. Wow, what wonderful names today, and I think I did pretty good on them. Anyway, if you're not a member of the Guild, you should consider joining us. You can learn more about it at handmadehouses.com. It's over 30 hours now, approaching 40 hours worth of instruction. Plus there's a online forum where we all get together and chat. I do my best to answer any questions for Guild members. And there's the live lake house series where I'm building my next house and sharing things more in detail than what I can do here on such a forum as YouTube. Anyway, you guys mean the world to me. Thank you for all the comments you leave here. Thank you for sharing and subscribing to my channel here. And until next week, you guys take care. We'll see you then. Bye now.